Have you ever felt trapped in your own mind? Like the loudest voice of doubt and fear isn't coming from others, but from within yourself? Every day, we wage a silent, invisible war, a psychological battle where the stakes are our dreams, ambitions, and our very sense of self. This isn't a fight against external circumstances or other people. It's a fierce confrontation against the toughest opponent you'll ever face, yourself. Think about the moments when you wanted to take that critical step, whether starting a new project, pursuing a passion, or changing your life. What held you back wasn't lack of skill, talent, or opportunity. It was your inner voice whispering, "You're not good enough, you don't deserve it," or "It's impossible." That voice is powerful, relentless, and incredibly convincing. But imagine what could happen if you silenced those doubts and replaced them with unshakable belief. The truth is, your biggest enemy and your most formidable ally both live within you. Mastering this internal battle isn't about defeating someone else. It's about overcoming your own limitations, negative self-talk, and fears that anchor you down. By conquering yourself, you reclaim control over your future and open doors to possibilities you've never dared to dream of. This video isn't about quick fixes or superficial motivation. It's about deep psychological transformation, strategies backed by science, research, and real-life success stories that will help you harness the power of your mind. Together, we'll dive into the core of self-awareness, confront the comfort zones that trap you in mediocrity, and build resilience that turns setbacks into stepping stones. If you're tired of being your own obstacle, tired of standing in your way, and ready to win the ultimate battle, you versus you, then this video is exactly what you need. The time has come to rewrite your internal narrative, crush your doubts, and finally become the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. Before we go deeper, let me share a crucial insight backed by psychological research. Studies from the National Science Foundation reveal that approximately 80% of our daily thoughts are negative. Take a moment to absorb that. If you've ever felt trapped, held back, or burdened by your own thoughts, you're experiencing what science confirms as our default human wiring. But here's the powerful question. How do high achievers, leaders, and resilient minds turn this natural negativity into unstoppable positivity? You're about to discover exactly how. There's a war happening inside every one of us, a silent, relentless struggle that most people never even recognize, yet it shapes every decision we make. This is the battle between who we dream of becoming and who we believe we are, between our highest ambitions and our deepest fears. Top psychologists and behavioral scientists agree. The mind is not a neutral space. It's a battlefield where confidence and doubt fight for control every single day. That hesitation you feel before taking a risk? That's not weakness. That's the voice of fear doing its job. The moment you second-guess yourself when opportunity knocks, that's self-doubt, trying to keep you safe, but small. Every choice, from the tiniest habit to the biggest life move, is filtered through this inner conflict. And unless we learn to recognize it, we become its prisoner. But once we do, that's when we take the first step toward mastering it. The truth is that the most relentless opponent you'll ever face is not out there. It's the voice inside you, the version of yourself that whispers doubt, dreads failure, and flinches at rejection. That internal resistance isn't a flaw, it's a fundamental part of being human. As the legendary psychologist Dr. Rollo May once said, "Courage is not the absence of despair, it is, rather, the capacity to move ahead in spite of despair." This inner conflict, the tension between your potential and your fear, can either paralyze you with anxiety or fuel you with purpose. And what decides the outcome? Your perspective, your mindset. the stories you allow yourself to believe. Winning the battle within doesn't mean erasing fear. It means refusing to be ruled by it. It means taking action while afraid, choosing growth over comfort, choosing bold steps over hesitation, choosing the future over the familiar. Because once you begin to master that inner resistance, once you stop negotiating with fear and start walking through it, you gain access to a version of yourself most people never meet. A version that's sharper, stronger, and shockingly free. And that's where the real transformation begins. Now that we understand the battlefield, we must name the real enemy. Not the world, not other people, but the patterns inside us. The subtle self-sabotage disguised as logic. The false humility that masks deep insecurity. The voice in your head that sounds reasonable, but quietly holds you back. These aren't just random thoughts. They are programmed responses, shaped by years of criticism, failure, and emotional wounds. Maybe it was a parent who said you'd never be enough, a teacher who humiliated you in front of others, or a failure you never really forgave yourself for. And now, those voices echo, not as memories, but as your own internal monologue. We all carry inner enemies. The perfectionist, who convinces you that nothing you do is ever good enough. The victim who blames everything and takes responsibility for nothing. The procrastinator, who calls delay preparation and fear strategy. They exist for one reason: to keep you safe. But safety isn't progress, and comfort zones don't build empires. The first act of power is awareness, not self-blame. Awareness. Listen to that voice inside. Is it guiding you or guarding the cage you've outgrown? Because once you see the pattern, you can break it. And once you break it, you can rebuild. We are not our thoughts. We are the observer of those thoughts. And that single shift in identity, it changes everything. When you begin to catch those destructive voices mid-sentence and replace them with conscious, deliberate intention, you're not just changing your mindset, you're rewriting your destiny. This is the pivot point, the moment where fear stops commanding and starts dissolving. Your inner enemy is not invincible, it's untrained. Now that you can see it clearly, you're ready to win. Once you've recognized the enemy, the next question becomes, are you feeding it? The truth is, one of the most subtle forms of self-sabotage is staying comfortable. Comfort is seductive. It convinces you that avoiding discomfort equals happiness. But real growth lives in discomfort. It's in doing the things you fear. It's in stretching beyond your limits, risking failure, and embracing challenge. Our brains are wired to seek safety and predictability. But the problem is, growth only happens when we disrupt the familiar. If you're not willing to feel uncomfortable, you'll never truly evolve. And if you avoid discomfort, you're not just avoiding pain, you're avoiding greatness. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you strengthen the version of yourself that's holding you back. But every time you choose discomfort with purpose, you expand your identity. You build a new standard for what you can tolerate, endure, and achieve. It starts small. Wake up earlier. Say what you mean. Make the difficult phone call. Walk into the gym when you feel unmotivated. Every act of courage chips away at the old self and reinforces a new one. The pain of growth is temporary, but the regret of staying stagnant lasts forever. So ask yourself, are you living to stay safe? Or are you living to grow? If this knowledge is lighting a fire inside you, if it's forcing you to reflect deeply, then you're already stepping into growth. And if you value powerful content like this, we invite you to subscribe to Human Algorithm. because here we decode the psychology of transformation. We expose what's holding you back and hand you the tools to break through. Growth is hard, but regret is harder. Make the choice that your future self will thank you for. Click subscribe, and let's keep growing together. So you've stepped out of your comfort zone. You've started identifying the mental traps. But to truly evolve, you need to master the compass that guides everything. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to observe your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in real time without judgment. It's about catching yourself in the act, when you're about to sabotage your own success, when you're falling into the same emotional traps, or when you're projecting fears onto your goals. This is not just psychology, it's high-performance living. Top athletes, CEOs, creators, and leaders all have one thing in common: an acute sense of who they are, what drives them, and what holds them back. Self-awareness lets you steer your life with intention instead of reacting blindly. One powerful way to sharpen this skill is to regularly reflect. Ask, what am I feeling right now? What triggered this emotion? Is this belief helping or hurting me? Questions like these put you back in control. They break the loop of automatic, unconscious behavior and rewire your mind to operate with clarity. Aristotle's wisdom still applies. Until you know yourself, you're simply guessing your way through life. And in a world that constantly tries to define you, reclaiming your own definition is a revolutionary act. If you're gaining clarity and power from this video, this is your moment to deepen your journey. Subscribe to Human Algorithm, your home for thought-provoking, evidence-based content designed to awaken your potential and sharpen your inner tools. Because awareness isn't just power, it's freedom. The freedom to choose, to grow, and to win the battle within. Let's keep building that awareness together. Everything starts with one thing: your mindset. Once you've faced your inner fears and stepped into honest self-awareness, the real fight begins. Not with the world, but with your own thoughts. The way we look at problems, failure, effort, and possibility doesn't just influence how we feel, it shapes our reality. Your mindset is the lens you use to see the world. It decides what's possible for you and what isn't. This isn't just a motivational idea, it's backed by science. Dr. Carl Jung, one of the world's top psychologists, discovered something powerful. People with a growth mindset don't just do better, they grow stronger through failure. They don't see problems as threats, they see them as chances to level up. So what's the difference? A fixed mindset says, "This is just how I am," and avoids struggle to protect the ego. A growth mindset says, "I can get better," and sees effort as the path to success. One keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. Start by listening to the voice in your head. If you often think, "I'm not good at this," or "Why does this always happen to me?" that's the fixed mindset talking. These aren't facts, they're habits, but they can be changed. Try shifting your self-talk. "I can learn from this." Struggle means I'm growing. It's not failure, it's feedback. When you start thinking like that, you're not just changing your mood, you're literally rewiring your brain. Bit by bit, you become more confident, more resilient, and more willing to take action. It's not about being fearless, it's about acting despite the fear. Every small step you take in that direction builds momentum. Every challenge becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. As Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." So protect your mindset. It shapes everything. Guard it like a fortress. Feed it with powerful thoughts. and it will carry you further than talent, luck, or circumstance ever could. This is your chance to take control, not just of your thoughts, but of your future. Because once you train your mind to grow, there's no limit to what you can become. You've walked through the shadowy halls of self-doubt, torn apart the false stories in your mind, and faced discomfort with clear eyes. You've learned that comfort is the true enemy of greatness, that awareness breaks old patterns, and that your mindset sets the boundaries of your life. But here's the deepest truth. The battle has always raged within you, and so has the triumph. This was never about conquering the world. It was about overcoming the person you were yesterday. Every strategy, every insight, every moment of reflection you've embraced today is a tool, not just to understand yourself, but to rebuild yourself. Each thought you select, each action you repeat, each belief you question, pulls you further from the you who stayed quiet, small, and afraid. The you who wins is the one who hears doubt's whisper, but refuses to follow it. The one who acts despite the fear. The one who presses on when no one else sees. Will Durant said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. You're not just chasing dreams. You're fighting for a life where you never leave yourself behind when times get tough. And if you've reached this point, you're already claiming victory. This is about a life where you stand tall, guided by growth, discipline, and self-respect. The world can turn as it will. We've already ignited the true revolution, starting deep within. So this is the reality. It is always you versus you, in every decision of life, every step you took. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can get daily updates about how our brain works and how to be successful in life. Thank you, and stay strong.